curriculum that we'll be talking about will be almost similar to what has been already been described. I will just talk about few anecdotal points as we went along the course in NIRD. Just to give a context, I come from an organization where we are working with around 65,000 women today across 5 states. We work with 15 producer companies that we have promoted with these primarily into agriculture, weaving, dairying and tribal areas. These are the 4 sectors that we work around. So therefore there is a definite bias that we have carry, which is to organize women and try and link them to markets within this one. So that's a predominant approach that we have tried to take within the livelihood sector. We are around 85 people, mostly technical graduates and management graduates who form this, and in all our courses, these are the people who teach. They are mostly from all the institutes which are here, people from XMB, IRMA, and all these people who have come together to form this organization. So we have also carry that bias, like management bias that we carry into the livelihood programs. So at our organization, we have 3 levels of livelihood education programs that goes on. One is directly with the community, where we work with farmers, helping them to become board of directors for the producer companies. So therefore we have a 10-day course where we take these board of directors through a program where they can learn governance and management to run these producer companies. Then we have a course which is 3 months course which we offer to the staff of the producer companies, which will basically has both practice component as well as this one to help them to work in the producer companies. Then the second level of courses are courses where we are engaged with several partners. We work with almost 150 partners across the country at various points. We have been working with them, where we help the staff of these partner organizations to build up livelihood programs. So we have been doing practical work where we do help them to do business plans. We help them on how to formulate bylaws for registration of the producer company. So these kind of aspects we directly practically work with these partner organizations, and therefore we have some programs going around that. But the current interest here is about how we have engaged with NIRD for the last 7 years. Now we are training the 9th batch of the NIRD program. The NIRD program is a 1-year program on post-graduation diploma of rural management. It's unlike the other programs where it is 2 years, it's a 1-year course. So the time duration that you have is much smaller and compared to the other programs. Now within this framework, I would also like to state that NIRD has around 10 different courses which are directly into livelihoods. So they have courses on MSME, how do you promote MSME enterprises. They have courses around skill development. They have courses around government programs around livelihoods enhancement. They have a course on a rural services program. So they have a variety of courses which are into livelihoods. We are looking after around 6 to 7 courses. Most of these courses, because we are a practitioner, we started as workshops with them. Because upfront, no academic committee used to buy this argument that we should have a course. So we used to start as a workshop for the students. We used to offer it as a workshop. The workshops were then translated into optional courses, and optional courses have today become, most of them have become compulsory courses there. So there has been a transition from starting with workshops to the optional. In fact, all the courses that we have added, 6-7 courses that we have added in NIRD, they started as workshops, then translated into elective courses, now has become compulsory courses. So the 6 courses have been outlined in the note that has been given already. Just to recollect, it is principles and practices of rural development management, basics in livelihoods, promotion, rural products marketing. Now this course is completely different from rural marketing. Most management institutes today teach about rural marketing, which is about selling FMCG products in rural areas. This course we have specifically designed to help students to appreciate and understand how you can actually sell produce which is produced in the rural areas into different markets, whether it is rural or urban markets. So therefore we discuss about handlooms, how can it be marketed, how can artisan products can be marketed, how can farm produce be marketed in a better way so that you can earn back more for the rural community. So that's the way in which we have tried to redefine this rural products marketing. There is a course on social enterprise development which we deal, and basically around different institutional forms that you can take in trying to promote livelihood-based institutions. So there we discuss about societies and trust, we discuss about producer companies, we discuss about companies law, and we also discuss about trade unions. These are the four different forms of social enterprises that we try and discuss with this course. There's a course on risk management in rural insurance. So here entirely the picture is about vulnerabilities, to look at vulnerabilities and how do you actually plan it in three different strategies. One is how do you reduce risk, how do you diversify risk, and how do you actually mitigate risk. These are three approaches predominantly which we teach. Because usually there is a lot of discussion about what is the approach to deal with risk. There are three ways: risk diversification, risk mitigation, and risk reduction. So all these three approaches we teach them through. Then we have a course on values and ethics. Values and ethics for rural urban management. So that is a course where we deal with on how do we actually reflect, do a self-exploration. And a lot of things in self-explore in terms of, quite often we are in the debate like whether we should go for a decentralized model or a centralized model. So in this course we help them to understand that these are all dual pictures. They are same part of the coin, whether it is a decentralized or centralized. They all have their own positives and negatives, so you have to go through. So you look at watershed program when it is decentralized. Earlier we used to talk about mini micro watersheds and watershed based planning. Now we talk about basin based planning. Now it's a decentralized as well as a centralized model. So whole lot of things have happened in the livelihoods this one. So we take them through this entire dualities that exist, whether it is centralization, decentralization, whether it is proactive programs or programs which are centrally designed. So we take them through several such kind of dualities in this particular values and ethics course. As far as pedagogy is concerned, we have small things which we have tried to incorporate in our course is that we give a CD of 20 videos. There are 10 videos around successful programs and 10 videos which will help them to appreciate the rural scenarios much better. So both these videos are then discussed in the classroom where we take out each of the video and try and discuss these 10 videos. There are few challenges. First thing is that because we are more practitioners when we get into an academic institutions, for us the difficulty is to really build in a mentorship kind of a relation with the students. It becomes very difficult because we go for 15 sessions, 20 sessions and then we are off the campus. We are never, to embed that is a very difficult thing because just understanding is one thing, but embedding that into a process, which is like if I do a business plan, I have to go back to the communities, share with the communities, sit with them, discuss with them, take their advice, modify the business plan, come back. It's a process which is carrying the value system that we respect the community's knowledge. Now, embedding this value system is a difficult process. I don't think visiting faculty have much to do with that, and then I'm surely seeing that we don't have much say in all these things kind of thing. There is also that as a teacher, quite often there is a challenge that we have to pick up lots of new things.
We have been striving to develop environmentally sound livelihood